Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how to restore your headlights if you don't have a buffer. So what you're going to need is a sanding block. I use this 3M sanding block and some 1500 grit sandpaper. This is pretty oxidized and you can see the clear coat is definitely failing, and 1500 will take care of this no problem. The steps are going to be, we're going to spray it down with some water or waterless wash. In my case I'm going to use waterless wash. There's no reason, water can be used just fine as well. Hit it with this 1500 and then I'm going to go side to side hitting it with the 1500, and after that I'm going to use my Trizact 3000 and I'm going to use it by hand because I don't have 3000 grit sandpaper that you would normally put onto here. If you don't have a Trizact 3000 disc, you can use the 3000 grit sandpaper that you would put on a sand block and go in the opposite direction. So if I took 1500 grit and went like this, you can go with 3000 sandpaper or this. Actually, I would recommend, if you do 1500 grit and you're doing it by hand, that the next step after 1500 should be 2500. However, in this video, since I don't have 2500 and the only 3000 I have is 3000 Trizact disc, I'm going to use that. However, you'll see that I'll still be able to get this completely restored. After we sand it, the next step is going to be polishing it. With 3000 grit, Optimum Hyper Polish, which is just a normal polish, not a compound, which is a heavier duty polish. So just the polish will be able to remove those 3000 grit scratches and we'll get a nice, clean, restored headlight. So for this video, I'm going to first tape off the headlight to make sure that we don't get any scratches or sanding of the body paint. When using tape on a car, I like to use this low residue green tape from 3M. It's really good so that when you peel it off, you don't get those tape lines, those pesky tape lines that are really, really common and really annoying to get rid of. Alright guys, once the car is taped off, you're ready to begin. Remember, we are going to be working with sanding plastic, and that stuff can tend to fly up into the air if you definitely if you dry sand. Even if you wet sand, there's chances of it getting into the air, so you don't want to be breathing it in. Use a face mask and some gloves just to be on the safe side. Alright guys, we marked the before and after. I moved the tape line more to this side because you can see there's heavy oxidation here and not enough here to make it a clear before and after. But just for the sake of me not having to reach over here with the camera right in this direction, I'm going to do this side. So I moved the tape over so that you can see that I'm doing just as heavy oxidation on this side as I am here. Over here it's really not that bad. But I did want to show you the proper process and the proper results, so I moved this tape line over, so I'm doing a little bit more than half, and so let's get started. So the first step is you wet this sanding grit sandpaper, and then you wet the surface that you're going to be sanding. See, when you wet the surface, it almost looks like it's clear. That's how those magic products that clean your headlight, that's how they work. They just wet the surface and keep it wet for a long time, but it's always going to be coming back. The only way to properly restore headlights is to sand them or polish them or something of that sort, some kind of abrasion to remove this old factory coating and reapply something new. So now that I'm doing 1500, I'm going to go like this. And when you go to your next step of sandpaper, remember, you would go in the opposite direction. And you can see that milky white substance, that is a factory coating that's coming off. That's completely normal, and that's what you want actually. When you get into these corners, it's okay not to follow the left, right, up, down kind of motion that you were doing before with your proper grit. Just try to get into these corners however you can. Like you see, I'm holding my hand at an angle, so if this was the corner, this is how I'm holding it, just so this part of it is rubbing against here and sanding it down. Alright, so after you're done, you'll see a milky white appearance from how your sanding work went. And if it looks a little splotchy to you, for me, the reason is because there was factory coating here, and there wasn't the clear coat, the factory coating here was failing, so it comes out as a little splotchy appearance. But don't worry, as long as you got all the portions, you should be in good place. Alright guys, so the next step is to go one level grit up. In my case, I'm using the Trizect 3000 grit, and I will be smoothing out these scratches. I'll be doing it with my hand. However, you would be doing it with a 3000 grit sandpaper on here. The only reason I don't have this 3000 sandpaper or 2500 sandpaper is because I don't normally do it by hand. I normally do it with the machine. So I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, which is why I don't have the 2500 sandpaper. So just like before, you want to spray down the surface that you're going to be working on. And because last time I moved in a left to right direction, this time I'll be moving in an up-down direction. To keep my hand stable, I'll be using an old body shop trick, which is to put my palm on it, which gives it a decent amount of even pressure. And I will sand like so. And now to get the edges, I'll put just pressure up here. I really recommend that you get the sand block if you're new to this, because it's much easier to get an even amount of pressure if you're just using a sand block instead of your fingers. Your fingers are very hard to get an even amount of pressure on across the entirety of this. So if you're getting sandpaper and you're not getting a block, which I highly recommend against, this is the way I would recommend you do this. Alright, so that you can see that some optical clarity has been restored to this surface using the 3000 grit. That's because this grit is very fine grit, so we're almost already restoring the surface. The next step is to really restore the surface and get a nice shine using some polish. Alright, so in this case I'm going to use Optimum Hyper Polish because I'm going to coat this lens with their plastic coating. So I'm going to use their polish because it just works well. In any case, this is a really good polish, so even if you're not using their coating, highly recommend this polish. You got to take a pad that is meant for polishing. This is the Hydrotech Tangerine pad. So this is a polishing pad. I know this looks really similar to the cutting orange pad, but this is the Hydrotech Tangerine pad, which is a polishing pad. So you're gonna just get some polish on there, spread it around, and here you can go in circles to remove your 3000 grit sandpaper marks. Alright, so once you're done, it actually doesn't even look like there's polish on here, but there is polish on here. I just rubbed it in so much. The next step is to use a plush microfiber towel to remove the polish and show you the shine. So look at that difference between the two sides. That's from hand polishing. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next video. Here are the results. You can see, pretty much crystal clear. Bring you up close. They look like new. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please push that like button or even subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. If you really enjoyed it, hit that share button. Really helps my channel grow and I would definitely appreciate it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good day. And in the meantime, let's dance.